Mr. Al Benchoff here tonight, who is sitting in for our city attorney, Mr. Majib, who is on medical leave. So Al, we're glad to have you with us tonight, sir.
I'm glad to be here. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That's why we see a new face sitting up here. He's pinch hitting for Mr. Majib. Thank you again so much. At this time, we'll do a recognition on item 1, the Citizens Academy graduates. At this time, who is that? Okay.
Good evening, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, City Council, and all our guests here. Thank you for allowing us to present the Citizens Academy graduates for 2018. But before I present the graduates, I want to highlight the program. The Monroe City Academy, Citizens Academy, is an opportunity for residents of Monroe and those who work in the city to get a chance to get the inside view of the city itself, get a chance to meet the department heads and department workers and just understand what the city is all about and how it operates and how it provides services to our community. Also, we have a diversity advisory committee that works with us throughout the year to try to help the Human Resources Department and the city manager to mirror the community by having representatives from every department that we go out and we try to interact. The Citizens Academy is one of the programs that we interact in and try to break down some of the walls. And we also put on a diversity training every other year, which is required for all of our employees so that we're sensitive to the things of our community. And so with that, I want to also just recognize the Diversity Committee, which if you raise your hand so you can see all of our help there. So they are really instrumental in helping us, and I really want to thank each and every one of you for your hard work. So with that said, I'm going to get a chance here, and I'm going to have you assist me give out the certificates for the graduates for the Citizens Academy. Okay, so first on our list here is Mr. Kevin Boyer. Then we have Tamika Brown. Let's see, then we have Capone, Larry Capone. Margaret Copany. Since he said it, I can do that. We have Sharon Covington Edwards. Deb Eddy. We have Amy Mungo. Shirley Plummer. Todd Price. Colleen Pasita. Dr. Melvin Rivers. Reverend Zakiya Rivers. Claudia Sandoval. Carlos Santiago. Gerald Thompson. Susan Thompson. Tonya Vitale will not be with us tonight, but she sends you all her wishes. Then we have Tiffany Wilson. Let's give a hand for the class of 2018. If you can turn around, I guess some of the council will shake your hands, and then we'll head on out so you can.
Thank you so much. Appreciate y'all. Appreciate y'all participating.
See you, sir.
I hope you got a lot of knowledge.
Congratulations. Larry.
Congratulations again. Thank you.
Congratulations, all right.
Appreciate you participating. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, Mr. Allen. Appreciate your participation. Thank you.
Congratulations, my friend. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Lady, you got
Thank you. Appreciate your participation. Thank you. You doing all right? How's mama?
for joining us. This is the opinion of the city.
Congratulations again.
Thank you so much for through the program. Congratulations. Yes, thank you. Glad to have y'all. Hey there. Thank you so much. Glad to have y'all. Hey there. You're welcome. Thank
How
you.
you doing? Congratulations. Congratulations.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
Good to see you. Hanging in there. Thanks for joining us.
Did you get email one?
Tough, grueling program. Glad y'all made it through.
Did you get? Yes. For some reason, I didn't think it was sitting. Bringing it in. Thank you, sir. Okay.
Thank you. Sorry about that, attorney. I didn't mean to skip you. Pretty important.
Have a good.
Thank you.
That's quite the class.
Go.
There's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
Fran Eisner, tennis. Not 3 feet taller.
Okay, we'll continue now with our item 2. It's a proclamation rezoning Red Ribbon, recognizing Red Ribbon, Ribbon Week. I get it in a little bit. Councilmember Anthony will read and present the proclamation. Thank you, Ms. Anthony.
Proclamation Red Ribbon Week 2018-05. Whereas communities across America have been plagued by the numerous problems associated with illicit drug use and those that traffic in them, and whereas there is hope in winning the war on drugs, and that hope lies in education and drug demand reduction, coupled with the hard work and determination of organizations such as the Mecklenburg County Young Marines of the Marine Corps League to foster a healthy, drug-free lifestyle, and whereas governments and community leaders know that citizen support is one of the most effective tools in the effort to reduce the use of illicit drugs in our communities, and whereas the red ribbon has been chosen as a symbol commemorating the work of Enrique Kiki Camarino, a drug enforcement administrative special agent who was murdered in the line of duty, and represents the belief that one person can make a difference. And whereas the Red Ribbon Campaign was established by Congress in 1988 to encourage a drug-free lifestyle and involvement in drug prevention and reduction efforts. And whereas October 23 through 31 has been designated National Red Ribbon Week, which encourages Americans to wear a red ribbon to show their support for a drug-free environment. Now, therefore, I, Bobby G. Kilgore, Mayor of the City of Monroe, do hereby proclaim October 23rd to 31st, 2018 as Red Ribbon Week in the City of Monroe, and urge all citizens to join in this special observance. Here, in witness thereof, I have hereunto set my hand and caused the seal of the City of Monroe to be fixed. This is the 6th day of November 2018. Bobby G. Kilgore, Mayor.
Thank you. Thank you. You want me to do that?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thanks, all you do.
Trying to get up, I thought.
Okay, we'll go to the consent agenda now. Larry?
Thank you, Mayor, members of City Council. The council uses the consent agenda to consider items that are non-controversial and routine. The consent agenda is acted upon by one motion and vote of council. Items may be removed from the consent agenda and placed on the regular agenda at the request of a council member or a citizen with the consent of council. Consent agenda contains the following items. Item number 3 is for the purpose of adopting the resolution to accept the land donation of a portion of property located at 402 A through H Patton Avenue, Monroe, to foster community place, neighborhood revitalization, and economic vitality and transportation. Item 4 is for purpose of calling 2 sets of public hearings for December 4th. The first set of hearings involve a petition for annexation of property containing 77 acres located at the northern corner of Unionville Indian Trail Road and Ridge Road, and to consider a zoning map amendment request to rezone property from Union County Residential Agricultural R40 to Conditional District Stallingsbrook, and a text amendment. The second set of hearings also involves a petition for annexation of property containing 35.69 acres located near the intersection of Gold Mine Road and Rocky River Road, and to consider a zoning map amendment request to rezone property from Union County Light Industry to Conditional District Union County Public School Transportation Center, and a text amendment. Thirdly, both sets of hearings include resolutions directing the clerk to investigate those petitions for annexation pursuant to General Statutes 160A-58.1. Item 5, for the purpose of awarding Police Officer Richard Hutchinson his service sidearm at a cost of 1 penny to be presented to Officer Hutchinson upon his retirement. Item 6 is for the purpose of approving 3 budget amendments, the first of which is to accept a donation from Omnova Solutions Foundations for $1,750 to purchase fire department items, including a digital camera and accessories, small investigative tools, smoke detectors, and other public education materials. And second, appropriate funds from the general fund's unassigned fund balance to support various improvements being proposed to the city's golf course totaling $50,000. And third is to accept a donation in the amount of $150 from Advanced Driver Training Services, Inc. for the Monroe Police Explorer program. Item 7 is for the purpose of calling for a special meeting to hold a public hearing on November 19th and to consider the award of a Level 3 Economic Development Incentive Grant to a confidential company. Item 8 is for the purpose of calling 3 hearings to be held on December 4th. The first is to consider declaring the property at 1001 Parker Street unfit for human habitation, and the request to proceed with demolishing and removing the structure. Second, to consider the award of a downtown economic development incentive to rehab development for the redevelopment of Piedmont Buggy Works. Third, to receive public comment regarding the use of funds from 2 grants from the U.S. Department of Justice. Item 9 is for the purpose of receiving donated entertainment equipment involving a foosball table for use at the Winchester Community Center. Item 10 is for the purpose of awarding a bid to Pierce Manufacturing in Atlantic Emergency Apparatus, Inc., to purchase one fire engine apparatus in the amount of $580,678. Item 11 is for the purpose of awarding contract to Classic City Mechanical for base bid and an alternate bids in the amount of $1,307,033 for the replacement of approximately 6,200 linear feet of water main along Franklin Street. Item 12 involves minutes and reports. Item 12A involves disbursements from City Council's discretionary fund. There were 3 sets of disbursements for this period. First of which is Mayor Bobby Kilgore made 3 disbursements, which includes one to Council on Aging in the amount of $500, Monroe High School Athletic Foundation in the amount of $250, and Bridge to Recovery in the amount of $250. Next was Mayor Pro Tem Gary Anderson made 4 disbursements, which includes Monroe Deliverance Center in the amount of $500, CATA PTSO in the amount of $500, Have a Heart Foundation of Union County in the amount of $100, and Turning Point in the amount of $200. And thirdly, Council approved the anticipated disbursement to the Union County Crisis Assistance Ministry annual fundraising dinner in the amount of $50. Item 12B involves financial reports for October, and as a summary, I'll highlight several fund balance amounts. The total fund balance is $28,563,000 and change. A few of the subsets of total fund balance are fund balance reserved by policy, and that's $10,106,000 and change. The unassigned general fund balance is $5 million and change, and the total assigned fund balance is $1.4 million. There are 7 sets of minutes lettered 12C through H. 12I is summary of contracts awarded, change orders approved, and city manager settlement claims. And there were 53 contracts for the period totaling $573,000 and change, and there were no claims settled during this period. Item 13 is for the purpose of accepting the NCDOT grant and to adopt a budget amendment for the receipt of those funds totaling $685,000 and change. This grant recognizes city's actions taken in the early 2000s to expand the airport. In part, those actions involve the city's acquisition of parcels in excess of 27 acres to comply with the FAA airport design standards and requirements for the runway extension. Item 14 is for the purpose of approving the request from a resident of the Helms Park neighborhood to post Wilson Avenue between Old Charlotte Highway and 74 as no through trucks. Item 15 is for the purpose of adopting 3 sets of resolutions. The first is to designate applicant agents to file for FEMA public assistance claims to mitigate damages from Hurricane Florence, which came through our area on September 14th. Second, resolution is to provide an exemption from engineer qualification-based selection processes for environmental services for parcels located in the area encompassed by the Concord Avenue Area Master Plan. And the third resolution is to involves improving the lease with Arrowwood Aviation LLC for Hangar 5, which sets forth an option for 3 consecutive 5-year term renewals. And item 16 is for the purpose of approving the preparation and advertising of a request for proposals for solid waste collection and disposal services. Item 17 is for the purpose of approving tax releases for the month of September 2018 in the amount of $569.48. Item 18 is for the purpose of awarding the contract to Page Power Systems, Inc. in the amount of $153,718 for the installation of a new generator pad and associated electrical improvements needed to support a new generator at the wastewater treatment plant. Mayor and members of City Council, this concludes my summary of items placed on the consent agenda for your consideration.
Move approve.
Second.
Have a motion, a second, any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, the consent agenda is approved. We'll go into the regular agenda. Item 19, the zoning map amendment request to rezone property located along Sinker Shortcut Road from residential to single family, R20, District Veronica Springs. Item 19, okay, thank you.
Good evening, Mayor and Council.
You're in the public hearing.
Tonight I'm presenting zoning map amendment request filed by Lennar Carolinas LLC for the properties located along Secret Shortcut. It's a total of 5 properties. The request is to rezone the properties from R20 residential single family to conditional district Veronica Springs in order to develop a 200 lot single family residential subdivision. Subject properties total 104.34 acres. Secret Shortcut is located along the front, and then the 5 properties are outlined in blue, and behind it is the Walmart, and there's the Lowe's at the bottom of the screen there as well. The subject properties, they're all zone R20, single family residential half acre lots. The properties to the west are also R20, and the properties to the south are GB General Business, and then a portion of the south is also Conditional District Heritage Gardens. The applicant, Lennar Carolinas, is requesting a conditional district in order to rezone to develop a 200 lot single family subdivision with approximately 31.3 acres of open space. The density of the project is proposed as 1.92 units per acre. The setbacks being proposed for the lots would be a 20-foot front, a 10-foot side, and a 20-foot rear. The lots range from approximately 6,200 square feet to 14,250 square feet. All homes will have solid front yards prior to entrance to CO. The applicant is proposed for each lot to have at least 2 trees planted, and then as well as 1 street tree per lot as well. As stated, the project will have approximately 31 acres of open space. You can see all the area. This is all open space through here and through here, because a lot of that is ends up being in floodplain, so they didn't show that in the lots as well. The applicant is proposing the amenity area to consist of any combination of the following: playground area, picnic pavilion, playfield area, and space permits possibly a splash pad. Additionally, walking trails will be provided throughout the development. Each single-family home will provide a 2-car garage and a paved driveway that will accommodate 2 vehicles. The applicant is also proposing to do 5-foot sidewalks on both sides of the street throughout the project, as well as an 8-foot sidewalk that would be along both sections of Secret Shortcut. There is a blue line stream that goes through the center of the property, which basically goes through this area right here, and the applicant is required to provide a 50-foot buffer, undisturbed buffer on both sides of that, so that's being shown as well. And the project will be required to provide stormwater management for water quality purposes that would be reviewed at the time of permitting if it's approved. As far as transportation, the developer is proposing for all streets to be constructed to City of Monroe street standards and will be maintained by the City of Monroe. A traffic impact analysis was submitted and reviewed by the Department of Transportation as well as the city engineering staff. And what came out of that study was there would be a left turn lane constructed at both access points on Secret Shortcut. So if you're coming from Monroe, which is this way, coming toward the project, there will be a left turn lane at this access point right here, and then a left turn lane at this access point at that location as well. This is a picture that graphic shows the amenity area. That would be the outdoor pavilion area and fireplace and the playground area. These are elevations that was provided in your packets. The applicant is proposing the minimum house size to be a minimum of 1,400 square feet. The exterior of the houses will be a combination of brick, stone, fiber cement siding, and fiber cement shake accents. The applicant is proposing the front to be, the front of each home to have a mixture of materials that would be a mixture of either brick, stone, or fiber cement, and then the sides would be fiber cement siding in the rear as well, though. The garages will have the Care style hardware as well as having the windows at the top, just to give some more street appearance. And these are in your packet, and also these are some pictures. Lennar is currently doing a project in Fort Mill that we went and visited as well and took some pictures of these houses. The land development plan indicates this area for a density of 2 to 4 units. This project is consistent. They are proposing 1.92 units per acre. The applicant held a neighborhood meeting on September 20th to inform the neighborhood of the project. And as well as this project did go to Plan Board last month and was unanimously recommended for denial at Plan Board. And to kind of point out the reasons for that recommendation for denial, Plan Board was concerned because at Plan Board, and negotiating with staff that they were proposing vinyl, and that they did not waver from that at the Plan Board. So that was one reason. And another reason, Plan Board was not 100% satisfied with the elevations they provided, because all the homes will be 2-story homes. And then the other issue that the Plan Board had, there was really no committal from them exactly what the amenity area is going to be at that point in time. And since the Plan Board meeting, the applicant has eliminated vinyl as the exterior building material with the exception of windows, doors, garage doors, soffits, trims, and railings. The exterior building materials will include brick, stone, concrete fiber cement siding, and concrete fiber cement shake accent. The developer did provide some revised elevations, similar to ones at Plan Board, but still they were a little bit different. And then lastly, the developer did make a commitment to the open space to be in the pavilion area with the fire pits. And so that's the 3 changes that's occurred since the Plan Board meeting. I'll be glad to answer any questions if you have any.
What's the price range?
Sorry?
Price range of homes?
I think they said they start up probably around $250 and up. And just to finish, I did provide you a resolution for either denial or approval in your staff report. And they'll make a presentation, but I'll leave this on the screen that kind of outlines your actions for tonight.
What is the planning department's recommendation?
The planning department, when we presented to Plan Board, we did recommend approval based on the how it fit in with the comprehensive plan, because the staff, as far as it's difficult for us to make recommendations based on building materials since we're unable to do that, but that's something that can be negotiated through this process between Plan Board and Council. But our recommendation was based on how it fit in with the comprehensive plan, and from that standpoint, it was consistent.
But the builder did make an attempt to fix some of those things that they did not like as far as building materials and
Correct.
fire pits and
The items that, the negative items in the building material, of course, I've heard you say, and I believe she just said, all that has been upgraded. Is that the way I understand it?
Yes, it's been upgraded from the Plan Board meeting.
From the initial?
From the initial, yes, because they came in wanting to do vinyl.
Been changed?
Yes, sir.
with the community meeting, what was the feeling of the community?
The community, their concern was the stormwater runoff, but there's a floodplain between most of the residents, so the floodplain and the water runoff will go directly to the floodplain to the creek. And then also they were concerned about the building materials as well. Because they were, the ones that were in attendance, or the one of the ones I spoke with was not in favor of the vinyl siding.
Okay. But the builder has committed to be responsible for the stormwater?
Yes, that's requirement. It's not really what they're going to commit to. They have to do it.
Okay. Any other questions? Thank you, sir.
How will it affect the traffic on Seacrest shortcut?
I'll get to you in just 1 minute, ma'am. This is a public hearing, and we will move into that. You'll have an opportunity.
I'm sorry. Where's, huh? Duplicate. I meant that I can get it, dude.
Should be that, should be in there. Full screen. It's not behaving, is it? Projector is causing a problem. It's gonna have to go fast.
Okay, all right.
Okay. This is a public hearing. I have several people signed up. This time I'll take them in the order that they have signed up, and I will add the lady to the bottom of the list. You will be able to speak, ma'am. The first one I have on the, is Matt Parnell. Am I saying it? You come if you'd like to speak. And if you will, if you folks, we have several to speak. If you could hold your comments to about 3 minutes, we appreciate it. Thank you, sir, Matt.
There we go. And just hit return.
Okay. Well, good evening, Mayor, Council, Mayor Pro Tem. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak. My name is Matt Pennell. I represent Lennar Homes as the developer and builder for Veronica Springs. I first want to thank planning staff, Doug and Lisa, for their time. They've given us considerable time. We've had several meetings, multiple months, trying to fine-tune this project. Lennar is very excited to be in Monroe. We're excited about this project. We see Veronica Springs as a fantastic community for families, first-time home buyers, first-time move-up buyers that we feel is desperately needed in this market. Our price range is actually going to be $250,000 to $290,000. The average resale price in this area is $220,000. So we are actually improving the market rate of housing in this area that we feel good about. A couple things as we go through the slide I wanted to point out. So currently the project is located off of Seacrest, and it actually resides in the future land use plan, which is currently mixed residential. As Mr. Britt in planning mentioned, currently our density is only 1.92 units per acre. Zoning would allow for 2 to 4 units, so we are coming in way below the threshold at 1.92. We also have over 30% open space, which is very significant for this project, which is going to lend to the design of the community that we're going to utilize for the amenity areas, the buffers between us and the existing communities, along with a natural trail system. We'll have a soft trail system for residents to use to connect throughout the community itself. So again, there'll be 2 entrances as you come in to our project. Feedback early on in the project, obviously for fire access, having 2 access points. We will have a taper, 100-foot taper, left turn lane taper into both the southern and northern entrance of the community itself. Again, this is reviewed by NCDOT along with the City of Monroe. This again just represents 200 lots, again 1.92 DUA with 30% open space, 31 acres. The lot size will be a minimum of 52 feet wide, lot depth of 110 feet. One of the nice things about the community again is, as Mr. Britt mentioned, that we will have 5-foot sidewalks on both sides of the street on this project, not just on one side, on both sides, along with an 8-foot sidewalk along Seacrest Shortcut for future use. One of the early discussions that we had, again, as Mr. Britt mentioned, there was support early on from planning staff for this project. There was some issues with planning board as far as Lennar not deciding or defining what we would have for an amenity space. And so we have listed some different various options that we'd like to present, one being a 20-foot by 40-foot pavilion with a fire pit, a playground that connects to that, and then we have what we call a neighborhood green space or a park area adjacent to that. So again, the homes, one of the forward issues we had to deal with was trying to maintain a price point that we felt was acceptable to our buyers, the end users of this neighborhood. We had originally proposed vinyl siding with a number of accents: stone, brick, hardy shaped vinyl. We originally had just flush garage doors. In the several meetings that progressed after that, we agreed that we would come back and go with full hardy siding on the sides and rear. Hardy shake. Again, the only vinyl siding on this product will be the garage door, the windows, the fascia or soffit. We've added upgraded garage doors now where we have glass inserts along with what we call carriage style hardware to give it a little bit more decorative look. Also want to thank Lisa and Britt and Doug for taking time to go to Waterside at the Catawba. They actually went to Fort Mill where we have this current product that we build. It's been very well accepted in Fort Mill at Waterside at the Catawba. And I want to thank them for taking time because it's hard to see the product in pictures. They actually took time to drive down and look at the product and look at the community that Lennar builds. So again, in closing, some of the overview and benefits. Again, this plan is consistent with the City of Monroe future land use plan. It's coming at a lower density than the city's future land use plan allows. Again, architecturally, we have made changes based on staff feedback to the product. I believe that's it. So,
okay.
Yes, that's it. Any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer.
Question. All right, thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry, somebody have a question. Okay. Second, I have signed up as Peter, is it T-A-T-G-E? Am I saying that correct?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Taji, thank you.
Yes, sir. Come, if you'd like to speak.
I'm with the team, and I'm here to support Lennar, the applicant, and certainly available for any questions.
Okay.
I think as Matt made his presentation, it was clear that Lennar is the developer and the builder. So there's that transparency. It isn't just a speculative rezoning. They are the end user, and they're going to provide the vertical product. So there's continuity with the town, the developer, the builder, and then eventually the HOA, which will be installed in the community.
Thank you, sir. I have another Matt signed up. Yes, sir. Would you like to speak, sir?
Yes, sir. I'm just going to have the project team available for questions as needed.
All right, thank you. Item number 4, Andrew.
For the project team.
All right. Bobby Humphrey. Would you like to speak, sir? Would give you a name and address for a clerk, please.
Do what?
Name and address for our clerk record.
Bobby Humphrey. I'm the pastor of Cornerstone Community Church of the Nazarene, and I live at 1400 Lancaster Avenue here in Monroe. I'm that odd-shaped square in the middle of all this project. And at first I wasn't sure whether I wanted 200 homes built around us like that, just for the thought of it. But after going to the meeting, I took a group of my board members to that meeting, listened to them. The only concern we had when we left was the siding, and they just changed that. So that was a concern for us. We're in support of it. We own 11 acres in the middle of that. 2 acres is owned by someone else. But we decided that it was a good thing for this community. Affordable housing is something we need, and we'll be glad to have them around us, and we'll try to be a good neighbor. How's that?
Good. Thank you so much. That's SST's Helen.
Hi. Thank you for allowing me to speak. I appreciate it. My name is Helen Estes. I live at 304 Austin Street in Monroe, in the city. and I am a member of the Church of the Nazarene. And as a representative of the people in the church, I just want you to know we are excited to welcome the families that are going to move around the church for us. But also, I'm a professional, I'm a realtor, and I have to tell you that we really do have a need for the price point that's coming in. The inventory is low because the economy is great. And so this is going to help a lot of young people, young professionals, and young families to afford a very nice home in a well-planned community. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Charles? Providence, Waxhaw. Yes, if you'd like to speak, sir.
Charles Walcott, 9603 Providence Road South. I'm at the South Carolina line at the end of Cane Creek Road and Providence Road. And I'm speaking on this because this particular parcel was the motivating reason, but I'm not really here to speak either for or against it. The one problem I guess I do have with what was said was when you say that it starts at $250,000, to me that ain't affordable. And I really think developers need to do much more in terms of putting much more affordable housing in development projects. Because the house I was in Charlotte until a year and a half ago, from 73 to 2017, had 1,800 square foot, and the last tax value was $138,000. So I couldn't afford a $250,000 house. So to me, that doesn't qualify as affordable housing at all. Anyway, what I want to offer is some personal thoughts that I hope you will consider, not only in just dealing with this decision, but other ones in terms of land use. Now, I grew up on the farm down there below Cane Creek. And thank goodness I'm back on it after being away for mostly 50 years. And there's some things I've learned. I'm going to try to speak to three things quickly here. The first is stewardship. And I learned that a number of years ago when I left teaching, which is what I thought I was going to do the rest of my life. That's an ancient concept, a biblical one. People of means in those times had what they call stewards. That was something that...
I don't mean to interrupt you, but we got to talk about housing. We got to stay on the public hearing. I got to stay on the public hearing and address the housing, this project.
What I'm going to say kind of is large. It's part of that, but it's looking at it from a larger perspective.
Where we at? Yeah, well, okay, can you hold it 3 minutes?
I'll try. How much have we got left?
I'll give you 3 minutes from now.
Okay. All right.
I don't mind you speaking, but we got to stay on the subject.
Okay. Again, this is thoughts I want to offer you because I think it should be in the back of your mind, not just this one time, but in other words. The steward was one who managed the household in ancient times. And what I came to realize some years ago is we are all stewards, whether we're elected or individually, because all we have comes from God. And so we are all charged to be good stewards or managers of what He has given us. Okay? This summer, as I looked out over the fields and neighbor works, I thought, what's going to happen to this when I die? I don't want to think there are going to be houses up there on this 28 acres. And I ran across an interesting article on Cain and Abel and something I had not thought of before. He said the practice in ancient times was the father left everything to the oldest son. And the reason for that, which I never thought about, is so it didn't constantly get subdivided, because then it would get to a point people couldn't sustain themselves on that little land. And so I think that's a real important point to consider. Also, what I see has happened in my lifetime, 72 years, is we have moved from a predominantly rural to a predominantly urban society, and I think that has profound effects. It hit me when our son was a teenager, and I told him to get the grass out of the flowers in the back, and I go out there and he's chopping it with a hoe, and I said, "Hey, just reach down the grass and pull it out from the roots." And he goes, "I'm not going to get my hands dirty." Well, that hit me like a thunderbolt, because I realized he'd grown up in Charlotte. He had no concept of God's good earth like I had, running barefoot through plowed fields. And so I think, and I've seen that bear out, that when you grow up in an urban setting, your whole orientation to the land is very different. And I'm thinking, there's not much, I mean, they've provided some, but to just be able to get out in the woods and whatever, and
20 seconds.
Okay. Well, the final point I would make is I've seen, like with the Tower of Babel, when people were supposed to disperse and multiply, and they tried to exalt themselves with the tower, and God caused them to babble. Well, there is the war in good and evil is done by self-centeredness. That's what takes us away from God. And what I see is that urban settings tend to push people toward the self-centeredness.
Mr. Walker, thank you. The time is, we let you go just a little bit. Thank you. We hate to cut you off, but we've got to stay on track with the public hearings. And we do thank you for your thoughts, sir. Ma'am, would you like to speak now? I believe you had a question or something. You would give us your name and address for our record, please.
My name is Rosa Dros, and I live at 1029 Barbie Farm Drive.
My name is Ramona Roan, and I live at 3114 Seacrest Shortcut Road in Monroe.
And while developing houses for people is all well and good, and he is right, the prices are going up where people may not be able to afford it. He made a point there. The second thing is traffic on Seacrest Shortcut. There's a lot of it. People speed on it. And it can become dangerous as I come out of my neighborhood. And I don't know how this is going to affect I'm new to the state, so I'm learning names still, and I'm learning people. So I just want to know, how will it affect the traffic on that? I know it's going to get worse. Can we get speed bumps?
Let me get you something. Who did the traffic study, or who can address that traffic? Okay.
Because I think speed bumps would help a lot with that speeding traffic.
Give me 1 minute, please.
Jim's not here, but Doug.
Mayor.
Yes.
Let Doug address it.
Okay, well, Doug, can you address her question?
Yeah, Secret Shortcut's a state-maintained road, and so obviously speed bumps would not be optional on Secret Shortcut because the city does speed bumps on our streets, but that's not our street. And when we do them, there's a certain policy the engineering department has to do speed bumps. Like I said, that's on city-maintained streets. Secret Shortcut is a state-maintained road, and that would be an option for doing speed bumps. Now, the developer did do a traffic study, and the purpose of the traffic study is to mitigate the traffic that they generate, not to alleviate the current traffic. Is to deploy the traffic studies and mitigate the traffic they generate from their own project themselves. And that's why they're doing the 2 left turn lanes, one at each access point of the project. All right.
Okay.
So for me, it's going to be at any point. I know so I would need to call the state to ask them if they're going to be widening the road anymore, other than the two left turn lanes. So do I need to discuss with them? Is it going to become a 4-lane road at any point?
Well, they'll be the ones to answer that. Of course,
Okay.
the two left turn lanes is being put in by the developer.
Okay.
But it'd be up to the state to do, if they want to widen the road or whatever, and if they address the speed hump, the state don't normally do any speed hump on state maintained road.
That's fine.
Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This is a public hearing. Anyone else who'd like to speak in favor? Hearing none. Is anyone who'd like to speak in opposition? Hearing none, we'll close the public hearing and take action.
Motion to adopt resolution approving land development plan compliance.
Second.
I have a motion and I have a second. Let me make sure we're covering all these things in there. Yeah, we covered it. Yeah. Okay, I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none.
And motion to adopt ordinance approving zoning map amendment.
Okay, have a motion.
Second.
Second. All. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none.
And motion to adopt ordinance amendment code of ordinances.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, that was passed. Item 20, reconsideration of zoning map amendment request for conditional district Redwood from October the 2nd.
Yes, I got.
City council. Let's let the crowd.
I got this from Mayor.
Yeah, let's hold on 1 minute.
This is what it is they have made some changes which I think alleviates some of all the concerns I had. So I got a motion to reconsider the request to the December meeting. At that time, it'll be reheard.
Okay. Is that your motion?
Yes.
I second that motion.
I have a motion and a second. Any questions, comments? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, all passed.
And a motion to call for public hearing to be held December 4th, 2018 to consider this matter.
Second.
Motion and second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
That'll pass. Okay, then we're going down to
Chris.
Thank you, Bob. Item 21, exemption of city-owned development. Chris Patay, front and center, sir.
Throw a rock at Chris, please.
Throw a rock at him.
Here comes Ducky. Quack, quack.
Special invitation.
Where's that Clemson orange at?
Quack, quack.
Sorry, I was back there sleeping. No, Mayor, we don't want that.
We don't want that. So you got a duck with him. Did you hear that?
Leave it up to a Clemson graduate.
I know.
Figure out how to get in on.
Apologize. All right. Are we set up, Bruce? The Mayor, Council, Manager Faison?
For some reason you're not putting anything up on the screen. I don't know if you got a key or something you're pressing here. Using the display.
Apologize. So here we go. Thank you for the opportunity to address you tonight. I'm asking you for consideration to exempt the naming of any city-owned or developed industrial parks from the naming of public facilities and lands in recognition for individuals' policy. First, the stated purpose of the policy is to, quote, provide a process that assists the city council with the recognition of individuals and naming of public lands and facilities. Again, recognition of individuals. While the policy is reasonable for the guiding of naming for a person, we are not seeking to name the park for any person, and therefore we feel the intent of the policy does not apply in this matter. In fact, the previous two industrial parks, the Monroe Corporate Center and Arrow Point Industrial Center, were named without going through this policy, and those parks were named by City Council with the advice and consent of the Economic Development Advisory members and Economic Development staff. By going through the EDC, this is still public input. It's just input from citizens that are dedicated to the economic development mission. Still not? Okay. All right, we'll figure it out. We're fine. So the industrial park's name is significant to us in the ability to market the property, and the name needs to be really a brand associated with that property. And so, again, not attached to a person. So the brand needs to be known and distinguished from the other industrial parks within the county, the region, the state, and beyond. And it needs to be known to site selection consultants, corporations, commercial realtor, brokers, the North Carolina Department of Commerce folks. The name needs to be identifiable without confusion by our own citizens, local businesses, and the news media related around business. To ensure the asset meets this criteria, it is best to receive any recommendation for the name for any industrial park owned and developed by the City of Monroe through the Economic Development Board of Advisors and the Economic Development staff. Obviously, all these decisions to name solely rest with you, the City Council. So with this, we do respectfully request that the industrial parks, again, owned and developed by the City of Monroe, be exempt from the naming of public facilities and lands in recognition of individuals' policy.
What do you want to name it?
Well, that's the next thing. I got to get through the policy first.
Okay, personal opinion, I don't think that council should not have the opportunity to be involved whether they actually give a name or not. I don't think it's good to exclude us from naming.
No, it's not excluding you. No. It's just versus going through a policy where there's a formal area where you're accepting public input.
Public input.
The public input comes from your board that you've established, the Economic Development Commission, and then comes to you. So all the decision still lies within you. You're the naming entity.
Well, we just don't have a partner giving the suggesting the name.
You can at this point. Yeah, we're coming with a recommendation, but the name can be whatever City Council decides. That is not. We're a recommendation and advisory mechanism to you.
When I misunderstood, it sounded to me you were saying
no, ma'am.
Only from economic development.
It is. I mean, if you want to send it back, if you not like a name or have another name in mind, then we can definitely look at that and vet it and bring it back to you. So
okay,
the sole decision lies with.
I'm gonna move us forward. Motion to approve the amendment to exempt city-owned development industrial parks from the city's policy naming policy.
And this is going to be only for industrial parks?
Yeah,
That's the intent.
Okay. What's your motion, Lynn?
What I just read, motion to approve the amendment to exempt city-owned development industrial parks from the city's policy naming policy.
I second it.
Motion second. All in favor? Aye. Okay, we passed that now.
Okay. Bruce, can we get this back? At least to operate this. Thank you again. I guess the next item, just to operate on that. It's a little bit of a glare, but we'll try to see if we can make that work. Okay. Well, okay. The city is engaged in economic development, industrial park and land, buildings, everything since 1995. The previous developments have been named with a brand that are very recognizable. People within the Charlotte area know the Monroe Corporate Center. They know that it is a premier park, and so that name carries a lot of weight within the area. The second park that we were able to develop was Arrow Point Industrial Center. Again, focused around the attachment to the airport as well as the focus on aerospace as one of the primary targets for that industrial park. And so with that, as we look at the third industrial park, the staff and Economic Development Board have looked at some ideas. And again, some of the things that we need to consider in coming up with a name or a brand for the park is what assets are located near it, what's the objective of the park. In this case, we were looking also at the funding source of the park, and also that it must stand the test of time. Obviously, we have two big assets right there near the park, which is the expressway. The expressway is designed to carry traffic and, in essence, a conduit for bringing commerce. We have the natural gas pipeline. Again, a pipeline is there to convey gas, oil, or some other thing, and then bringing commerce with that. Being that we also have a large outfall in that area for the water and sewer, that in the funding source was coming from the water resources fund balance, that we were looking at something to go with that. And aqueduct was a term that sort of matched up with the other infrastructure that's around it. Again, something that conveys water, but also it's a conduit to bring commerce to an area. So looking at Monroe, we want to make sure that there's some recognition of our city in this park. So basically taking the M and continuing, you can see how the development of the symbol for the aqueduct showed up. And so that's where the naming is coming from. Again, the funding source being from the water resource area. And so just as we kept developing, and so that would be roughly the way the logo would work or look. Again, we're talking about the 155 acres there just south of the expressway, north of 74, and west of 200.
Is that the only one you're presenting, aqueduct?
The name,
Don't have any other possible choices?
for the name, that is what went through the Economic Development Commission and then came to us.
I would think when you hear the name aqueduct, everybody gonna think you got a 50-acre lake out there.
Aqueduct is, I mean, it's fine. We, you know, it's one of those things that it's standalone. It's very unique in the name. We were trying to come up with something that would stand alone in the region.
Well, you talk about the industrial park that we already have and some other thing, and I'm certainly not trying to name it, but why would it industrial park north, Monroe Industrial Park North, or industrial park? I'm not trying to name it.
And that's fine. The covenants or the Monroe Corporate Center are called Monroe Corporate Center and Monroe Corporate Center South, so there's other confusions. You don't want to name, Monroe Corporate Center has its own identity. We don't want to name anything the same as that park. And then we're also, you know, there's a lot of industrial parks in the region. A lot of the names are already taken. So you're trying to find something that's individual.
Well, that's
is a bit of a stretch, but it is, you know.
It's a long stretch.
I don't see how you.
And that's fine. We can take it. We can take it back.
Did the Economic Development Board?
It was presented to them, and there was
the whole board.
It was at the last board meeting.
I didn't make it late.
Yeah. So the
I'd
last.
like to make a motion that you bring us another suggestion. Frankly, that just aqueduct, it just does something to me. It doesn't suggest industrial park to me. Sounds sort of silly.
Well, we're going to vote on this. Let's let him finish.
Commerce part, because there's not going to be a lot of heavy industry in this.
Correct. The
So
commerce
is definitely a name we need to have in there.
Yes, the Commerce Park was definitely related to the expressway and what we think will be there.
Is there an advantage to having an A in the name? For searches?
It helps you alphabetically, but that's not necessarily how people look for parks.
I have a motion on the floor.
Well, let's let him finish, and we're going to.
No, that's fine. I mean, again, we're just trying to have something that would be recognized.
What's the motion?
I make a motion that it bring us another idea, another name to consider.
All right, have a motion. Second. I have a motion, a second. All in favor? Any opposed? Hearing none. Thank you, Chris.
All right, thank you.
Mayor, before I forget it, I've got a couple of things. One is Thanksgiving's coming up. We give our employees Thursday and Friday. I think we should give them Wednesday. They'll be good traveling time to get to where they're going, so I move that we give them Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday.
I agree with that.
They're already smiling in the audience.
They have to bring us some turkey and dressing too.
Any comments? Any comments? Y'all want to make any comments? I have a motion to second. All in favor? Okay.
And one other one.
All right.
We've had some issues with the the raise that we gave the employees.
Oh, no, we're not ready. I don't think we're ready for that.
Oh, we're not? Okay, excuse me, I jumped ahead.
We're not ready for that.
Hell, I was doing you a favor.
Okay, we gotta, let me finish where I'm at here. I think it's time.
Public comment.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, we have public comment. Okay, at this time, we'll take public comments. Anyone here, I believe I have Ms. Beth signed up to speak.
Yes, just a quick question.
I'm sorry?
I said a quick question.
Come right up.
Thank you. My name is Beth.
Name and address, please.
Beth Tortolot, 5006 Paddlewheel Lane. Thank you for letting me speak tonight or have a question. Actually, last city council meeting, gosh, I was at last month. I was pulled out of the meeting because I had some concerns about the Monroe hardware roof. So I was pulled out of the meeting to hold that it would start the new roof within 2 weeks, but it's been 5 weeks. Just wondering if there's any update. Nothing started.
Still hadn't started?
And it's got about a 3-foot gap in the roof that's, when it rains, it leaks into my building.
Any of the staff,
Just
any
curious.
update on
Joey?
that?
Doug? You told me, I know, you told me, you called me last time, that was it, and that was great.
Brian, you got an update on that?
I have an update, yes, I do. They were on the roof this afternoon, the contractor. The permit has been in place, they applied August 31st.
Yeah.
It's a $256,000 roof contract. Of course, since August, you know, we've had 3 storms. Construction is in high demand. There's scheduling issues. Roofers are very busy. So the project was delayed. The last I got is they were going to start Monday the 12th.
Monday the 12th.
Monday the 12th.
All right.
That's subject to
As in,
change. November.
Replacing the whole roof?
Yes.
Okay.
Replacing the.
Good.
Okay.
Thank you, Brian.
Ms. Beth,
Thank you,
that's
Brian.
it. That's your question answered.
I know, thank you.
Anyone else who would like to speak? Hearing none, we will be going into closed session at this time. Will somebody please read the closed session?
I move to go into closed session pursuant to North Carolina General Statute Section 43-318.11A, 1 and 6, prevent disclosure of information that is privileged or confidential pursuant to the law of this state or the United States, are not considered a public record within the meaning of Chapter 132 of the General Statute, and consider the qualifications, competence, performance, character, fitness of, or to hear and investigate a complaint, charge, or grievance by or against an individual, public officer, or employee.
You must. Second.
A second.
Thank you.
I hope it's fast, I got to get these elections.
Thank you, Al.